Night does not come to give you rest. It comes to reveal who you truly are when the noise disappears, when the world quiets, when the messages stop, when there is no audience left to impress. What remains is you. Not the version shaped for others, not the one polished for approval, but the unfiltered self. And most people run from this moment. They drown it in distractions, in endless scrolling, in numbing routines that keep them from confronting the truth. But that escape comes at a cost, because the night is not neutral. It is either a forge or a slow decay. If we do not take control of what happens before sleep, then we hand over our minds to chaos. We carry unresolved emotions into the dark. We let anger ferment. We let regret deepen its roots. We let weakness quietly reinforce itself. And then we wonder why the next day feels heavy, why discipline feels harder, why clarity slips through our hands. The truth is simple but unforgiving. How we end the day determines how we begin the next. And if we are not deliberate in those final moments, we are losing. Quietly, invisibly, but consistently. So we must learn to treat the night as a sacred threshold, a place where we confront, refine, and prepare. Not once, not occasionally, but every single day. Because the man who wins his nights eventually wins his life. 1. We audit ourselves without mercy. Before sleep, we do not escape the day. We dissect it. We sit with ourselves and ask the questions most people avoid. Where did we act out of weakness? Where did emotion override reason? Where did we betray our own standards? This is not done to shame ourselves, but to see clearly, because clarity is the beginning of transformation. There is a quiet discipline in reviewing your actions without excuses. No blaming circumstances, no blaming other people, just truth. Cold, sharp, and unfiltered. The kind of truth that cuts, but also cleans. Most people fear this process because it exposes contradictions. They see who they claim to be and who they actually were. But that gap is where growth lives. And if we refuse to look at it, we remain trapped inside it. So we go through the day, step by step. Conversations, decisions, reactions. We notice where anger slipped in, where laziness disguised itself as rest, where fear made us hesitate, and we do not justify it. We acknowledge it. And then something powerful happens. We stop being victims of our behavior and start becoming architects of it. This is how we take control, not by pretending we are perfect, but by refusing to lie to ourselves. 2. We strip away emotional residue. The body can lie down. The mind cannot unless it is cleared. If we carry resentment into sleep, it does not disappear. It settles deeper. It hardens. It becomes part of how we see the world. And slowly it begins to shape our actions without us realizing it. So before we close our eyes, we confront what we are holding on to. Anger, bitterness, frustration. We do not suppress it. We examine it. We ask, is this within my control? If it is not, then holding on to it is self-inflicted suffering. And we release it, not because it feels good, but because it is necessary. There is strength in letting go. Not passive surrender, but deliberate refusal to be controlled by emotion. We remind ourselves that other people act according to their own understanding, their own limitations, and expecting them to behave differently does not change reality. It only breeds frustration. So we adjust our expectations and reclaim our peace. This is not weakness. This is mastery, because the person who cannot release emotion becomes enslaved by it, and the one who can becomes untouchable. 3. We rehearse tomorrow with intention. Sleep is not an escape, it is preparation. Before we rest, we project ourselves into the next day, not in a vague, hopeful way, but with precision. We see the challenges that will come, the difficult conversations, the moments of temptation, the points where discipline will be tested, and we prepare our responses in advance. We decide how we will act when things go wrong, because they will. We decide how we will respond when we feel tired, when we feel irritated, when we feel like quitting. We remove uncertainty by choosing our behavior before the moment arrives. This creates a quiet confidence, Not because we believe the day will be easy, but because we are ready for it to be difficult. Most people wake up and react. We wake up and execute. And that difference is built the night before. We are not hoping for a better tomorrow, we are designing it. 4. We detach from the need for validation. The night reveals a harsh truth. None of it follows you here. The opinions, the approval, the judgments of others. When you lie down, all of it disappears, and what remains is your relationship with yourself. So we use this moment to detach. We remind ourselves that external validation is unstable. It changes with perception, mood, and circumstance. If we build our identity on it, we become fragile, dependent, easily shaken. Instead, we return to something more solid. Our own standards. Did we act with integrity? Did we do what we said we would do? Did we hold ourselves to the level we claim to live by? These are the only questions that matter, because self-respect is earned internally, not granted externally. And when we stop chasing approval, we gain something far more powerful: freedom. Freedom to act without fear, freedom to stand firm, freedom to become who we are meant to be, regardless of who is watching. 5. We accept the day completely, without resistance. Before sleep, we do not argue with reality. Whatever happened, happened, and resisting it changes nothing. It only creates internal conflict. So we practice acceptance, not as passive resignation, but as clear recognition of what is. We look at the day in its entirety, the wins, the failures, the unexpected moments, and we accept all of it as part of the path. There is a deep strength in this, because when we stop resisting what has already occurred, we reclaim energy. We stop wasting it on what should have been, and redirect it toward what can still be. This does not mean we are satisfied with mistakes. It means we are no longer trapped by them. We learn, we adjust, and we move forward. Because the past cannot be changed, but how we carry it can, and we choose to carry it with clarity, not regret. 6. We end the day with quiet discipline, not indulgence. The final moments before sleep are not for chaos. They are for control. Most people end their day in indulgence. Mindless entertainment, endless consumption, a slow drift into unconsciousness, and while it feels harmless, it weakens the mind, because it trains us to avoid stillness. So we do the opposite. We create a deliberate closing ritual, something simple but intentional, a moment of silence, a final reflection, a conscious decision to step away from noise. This is where discipline becomes identity. Not in grand gestures, but in quiet consistency, in choosing what strengthens us even when no one is watching. And over time, this compounds, because every night we end with control makes it easier to begin the next day with it. If we are not doing these things before sleep, then we are not just resting. We are drifting. Drifting into weaker habits. Drifting into emotional instability. Drifting into a life shaped by chance instead of choice. But if we take control of the night, if we face ourselves, clear our minds, prepare with intention, detach from noise, accept reality, and close with discipline, then something changes. We stop reacting to life and start directing it. And slowly, quietly, without needing to announce it to anyone, we become unshakable. There is a story told of Seneca who, despite advising emperors and living among immense wealth, would deliberately sleep on a hard surface and eat the simplest food for days at a time. Not because he had to, but because he refused to let comfort weaken him. Before rest, he would strip life down to its bare essentials, reminding himself, "Is this what I feared?" And in that quiet confrontation, fear lost its grip. We do the same when we face the night honestly. We train ourselves not to depend on ease, but to remain steady without it. And consider Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire yet still battled his own mind each evening. In his private writings, never meant for an audience, he spoke to himself with blunt clarity. He reminded himself of his failures, his impulses, his frustrations, not to punish himself, but to refine himself. Imagine that. the most powerful man in the world, still holding himself accountable in silence. That is the standard. Not external power, but internal order. There was also Epictetus, born into slavery, who owned nothing, yet possessed a level of control over himself that most free men never achieve. He taught that we must separate what is within our control from what is not. Before sleep, this becomes critical, because if we carry what we cannot control into the night, we willingly burden ourselves with unnecessary weight. But if we release it, we reclaim authority over our inner world. That is true freedom. Think about a simple, modern example. A man gets disrespected during the day, at work, on the street, somewhere small but sharp. He carries it home, replays it, rewrites it in his mind. By the time he lies down, he is no longer just remembering the moment. He is reliving it. His heart rate rises, his thoughts spiral, sleep becomes shallow. The next day he wakes up already irritated, not because of what happened, but because he chose to carry it. This is how weakness compounds, quietly, daily. Now imagine a different response. The same moment happens, the same disrespect, but before sleep he sits with it. He examines it. Was it within his control? No. Could he have responded better? Maybe. He notes it, learns from it, and then he releases it. Not because it didn't matter, but because holding on to it serves no purpose. He sleeps deeply, wakes up clear. That is the difference between being controlled by the world and controlling yourself within it. There is a discipline in rehearsing tomorrow that most people never develop. Picture a soldier before battle, not charging blindly, but visualizing every possible outcome. The chaos, the fear, the pressure, and yet when the moment comes, he moves with precision, not because it is easy, but because it is familiar. We apply the same principle. We see the obstacles ahead. We prepare for them mentally, so when they arrive, we do not panic. We execute. Even something as small as waking up early becomes easier when decided the night before. Most people rely on motivation in the morning and fail. But if we have already made the decision, if we have already committed to the action, then the morning is not a debate. It is a continuation. This is how discipline is built. Not in the moment of action, but in the moment of preparation. There is also power in detachment that cannot be overstated. Think of how many people spend their entire day adjusting themselves for others, changing how they speak, how they act, how they present themselves, just to maintain approval. And yet, when they are alone at night, that approval means nothing. It does not comfort them. It does not strengthen them. It does not make them proud, because deep down they know it was earned through compromise. But when we live by our own standards, when we do what is right, regardless of who sees it, the night becomes different. There is no performance to maintain, no mask to remove, only a quiet sense of alignment. And that alignment brings a kind of peace that external validation never can. Acceptance, too, is often misunderstood. People think it means giving up. But in reality, it is the opposite. It is the refusal to waste energy on what cannot be changed. Imagine trying to argue with the past, as if reliving it will somehow rewrite it. That is what most people do. Every night, and it drains them. Instead, we take what happened and turn it into instruction. If we failed, we extract the lesson. If we succeeded, we reinforce the behavior. Nothing is wasted. Everything becomes material for growth. This is how we turn every day, good or bad, into progress. And then, there is the final test. How we choose to end the day. This is where most people lose without realizing it. They surrender their attention. They flood their minds with noise. They avoid silence because silence forces them to confront themselves. But in doing so, they weaken their ability to think, to reflect, to grow. We choose differently. Even if it is just a few minutes, we sit in stillness. No distractions, no escape, just awareness. It may feel uncomfortable at first. That is normal, because most people have never trained their minds to be alone with themselves. But over time, that discomfort turns into strength, because the person who can sit in silence without needing distraction has already won a battle most people never even recognize. And when we finally close our eyes, it is not with a restless mind, but with a clear one. Not with unresolved tension, but with intentional calm. not with uncertainty, but with direction. This is how we end the day, and this is why we begin the next one stronger.